Cam Heyward's frustrations are boiling over on social media after a rugged and hard 2023 campaign for Cam Heyward, one of the best Steelers that's been through that building in quite some time. Welcome back to Mike Drop Sports, everybody. I'm Jason. Let's talk a little bit about what Cam Heyward had to say on Twitter and also where the Pittsburgh Steelers need to be looking in terms of defensive tackle. Is Cam Heyward really that guy moving forward? Has he aged out? I really love Cam Heyward. I feel like he brings an excellent presence in the leadership department. I feel like he's been a monster player, and after a 2023 injury-plagued season, Cam tried to rush back and get back to playing football to help that football team and help them succeed. And the Pittsburgh Steelers saw Cam Heyward perform at a super low level if you were comparing it to Cam's prior seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. While on Twitter, though, Cam had a message for Steelers Nation because many fans are out there calling for Cam to simply retire, simply just get off the books and alleviate some of the cap hit that Cam will hold for the 2024 season. And he's looking at about a $22 million cap hit for the Pittsburgh Steelers, taking up roughly about 10% of the entire cap for the Pittsburgh Steelers total for next season. And many fans, I feel, have grown impatient with Cam due to his injury-plagued season last year and are looking for an upgrade. The Steelers have several free agent defensive tackles heading into this year's free agent market, and also there are some draft options for the Pittsburgh Steelers to possibly become younger. They did add Keanu Benton last year, which was a good pickup by Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin. Considering the Wisconsin Badger kid, he really came in and played well as a rookie, getting snaps, being a contributor throughout this season, throughout the 2023 campaign. But let's talk about what Cam Heyward had to say on Twitter, and I quote, and I'll put it up on the screen also as I read it. "Funny how you get hurt and kill yourself to get back to play and not be 100%. Now they want you to retire because I was hurt all year. At least I know where you all stand. Y'all quick to forget when I am healthy. But I look forward to reminding you all." Yeah, that is a direct quote from Cam Heyward's Twitter account that he posted himself. And it seems as though his frustrations are boiling over and he is growing impatient with the fan base also. Like the fans are growing impatient with his performance. And a guy that's making the money that Cam is making, I think the Steelers fans and the Steelers organization are going to expect a hell of a lot more than what Cam put on the field last year. But guys, we have to recall Cam Heyward was seriously injured last year. That groin injury is one that lingers and it takes major time to heal up. Also, Cam went through, I believe, a couple surgeries to try to get back onto the football field as fast as possible. And we have to give Cam Heyward credit where it's due. A guy that really wanted to help out his ball club, and he got back and he did what he had to do in order to fill a hole on the Pittsburgh Steelers team because you had injuries to other players, Montravius Adams, players like that. But you look at the Steelers and you look at them on that defensive front at the defensive tackle spot, and they are growing thin and they are growing old with the addition of one young guy, because you have now several others that are in the free agent market here in 2024. Armon Watts, Montravius Adams, Renell Wren. There are several other guys that aren't going to be readily available unless you re-sign them. And do the Pittsburgh Steelers want to re-sign these guys? Do they think that these guys could possibly be the future for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were able to re-sign a Mon Adams and Armon Watts? We won't even include Wren. I don't believe that he really has much hope of being a major contributor for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But again, Cam Heyward growing old, guys. And if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you want to see a good run-stuffing defensive front, especially when you play that 3-4 defense. The defensive tackle is of the utmost importance, and you have to have quality play from that position, or your defense is going to suffer. It is going to trickle back onto those inside linebackers that was very decimated by injury last season. And whenever those guys really have to come down and help just be extra on the run game. Also with pass covering duties, covering receivers, that adds a lot of stress onto that middle part of the Pittsburgh Steelers defense when you're not getting the performance from the defensive tackle spot that you absolutely need when you're running a 3-4 defense. You have to have those guys be ultra productive, and Cam Heyward has been that over the years. Cam Heyward has been that steady force, that leader, and he hasn't been decimated by injuries throughout his career. But you can start to tell when the guy on defense starts to get older. It starts to really hurt his game, because on defense you have to be quick, physical, and flying around. And injuries tend to happen to these guys later in their career, and it becomes more difficult to stay on the field. You can do things like rest and not let them practice as much and really try to take care of their body and preserve them for game day. But again, guys, you're getting old in a high contact sport, and it starts to wear on your body. And is Cam Heyward going to be able to overcome these injuries now that are starting to happen here late in his career? Especially injuries to your lower body, injuries that are going to be nagging. And if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers or you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I pose the question, would you rather Cam Heyward rework his deal, add some years onto that contract in terms of a restructure, lower that cap hit, and bring Cam back for the 2024 season? Or would you rather just try to part ways, maybe trade him off, figure a way out from underneath that contract to where you don't eat a shit ton of dead money if you do get rid of him? That's the real question that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have to ask themselves. Also, are they going to be able to go out in the draft and have enough draft capital to be able to get one of these quality guys at the defensive tackle spot? There's Newton from Illinois, Murphy from Texas, Taylor from Miami, Smith from LSU, Davis from Clemson, Fisk from Florida State, Wingo from LSU, Aurora from Clemson, Carter from Duke, those Randolph Jr. and also another Illinois guys. They round out the top 10 of possible defensive tackles here in the 2024 draft class. Are you going to be able to get one of those guys at a reasonable pick, considering the needs that you have already at places like middle linebacker, but we won't even go there because the Pittsburgh Steelers, even cornerback, even center is a big issue right now and a hot and heavy topic for the Steelers, considering the weak draft class at the center position. Are they going to be able to find a diamond in the rough there? We talked about that on yesterday's show. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, is defensive tackle going to be an extreme need? Are you going to be able to go into the next season with Cameron Heyward, with Keanu Benton, possibly Larry Ogunjobi, or maybe returning one of your free agents in Mon Adams or Armon Watts, guys of that nature, to be able to fill that hole at the defensive tackle spot and bring it back up to speed and get it back to the caliber of play that you need it to be in order to be a successful team that runs a 3-4 defense? The question remains, how do you part ways with a guy, though, like Cameron Heyward, the Walter Payton Man of the Year? He means so much to that locker room. He means so much to that community. And by no means does this show one that's just sitting here bashing Cam Heyward and trying to dog Cam Heyward. Absolutely not. If he is able to recover from that injury, I'm all full go on Cam Heyward, because I think a mad, mean, nasty Cam Heyward in 2024 could spell a big season for Cam. I still feel like he could get it done as long as the injuries don't hinder his play. And I think that has to be the biggest question for the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers were one of two teams that paid over $100 and some million, I believe over $110 million. I believe they paid $111 million last year on that defensive side of the football, which is okay. I don't really care which side you spend it on, because you have to look at how teams age and how you draft and how you try to replace your cupboard full of players. So it's okay. You're going to get those lopsided years. You're going to get the years to where you're paying way more on one side of the ball, just because that's where you're getting older. And that's where you start to have to pay your players on those second term deals. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, they paid a shit ton on that defense. And then they had an offense that didn't help that defense and kept going 3-and-out, 3-and-out, 3-and-out. And it put that defense in a bad spot. And it showed with the injuries to inside linebacker. Devastating injuries there. It showed on the defensive front when you had Cam Heyward get injured. You saw TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith get slowed throughout the season, especially TJ just getting worked over, man, to where eventually injuries started catching up with him. He had an unfortunate situation in Baltimore right ahead of the playoff game, which I feel like if you had TJ in Buffalo, you might have had a slightly different outcome. Maybe it's even closer game than it was. Maybe that's the question that you got to ask yourself. Are these guys getting old? And is it wise to have a Cam Heyward on your roster that requires a cap hit of $22 million, which is 10% of your total team cap? It's crazy. Now that the NFL increased this cap by $30 million, does that help Cam Heyward's cause? Does it help players like Patrick Peterson remain on the team? Those are questions that have to be asked. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, I believe, need to go out and get another guy in the draft. I think you need to continue to get younger there. I like Armon Watts. I like Mon Adams. I think you could bring those guys back and let them be depth pieces if you get them back at the right price. But keeping Cam Heyward, you have to get his deal restructured. And I know he's upset, and I know he's fired up and mad as hell that people were questioning that $22 million cap hit from Cam with his production from last season. But if you're Cam Heyward, you have to do maybe what's best for the team also and figure out how you can spread that money out to help. I'm not saying you give that money away, because you don't. You still get that money eventually, but if you're Cam Heyward, maybe spread it out a little bit. If you know, hey, I'm about down to my last couple of years here, I'm going to retire, maybe you do that for the team. Or maybe Cam Heyward is so pissed off at this whole situation that he says, no, I want my money and I want it now and I want it for this year when I'm due, $22 million. Period. Maybe that's how it works, and the Pittsburgh Steelers then have to make a difficult decision. But if you're Cam Heyward and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's no way possible you can keep Cam Heyward on this roster for the 2024 season at a $22 million cap hit. It doesn't work. It's not going to be team friendly at all, and it's not going to be friendly to both sides. Well, it's friendly to Cam, but it's not going to be friendly to the team as they're trying to build a quality roster, especially with the lack of production that Cam showed last season. Again, guys, I think Cam Heyward is a phenomenal man, first and foremost. I think he is a phenomenal NFL star, but I just think he's starting to age out. And this is, either his last one or one of his last couple opportunities to go and chase the Lombardi in the NFL. And I believe, because he said it, that he wants to be a Pittsburgh Steeler for life, and I don't see him playing in another uniform. But I think Cam is going to have to realize that he has to work out a better deal than what the $22 million cap hit shows right now on paper and what it looked like last year when you compare the stats to the money that player makes. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have their backs against the wall to make a very tough, difficult decision concerning Cam Heyward here. And I think it could get messy a little bit if Cam isn't fully on board with trying to alleviate some of that cap hit. That's going to be a decision Cam has to make. And by the sounds of it, it doesn't seem like he's too fired up about trying to take a pay cut. And he seems to be really frustrated with the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base. I want you guys to put in the chat here in the comments section what you think the Pittsburgh Steelers should do with a guy like Cam Heyward. Should they figure out how to get rid of him somehow? Should they figure out how to lower his cap hit and bring him back for the 2024 season? Or what? What should they do, guys? What should they do with Cam? Should they go out in the draft and try to just get one more young guy, another young stud, and waste some, well, not waste, but use some high draft capital, maybe a third-round pick on one of these defensive tackles? Maybe you could still get one of those top 10 guys inside of round 3, maybe. Where do they look? What if they get a center in round one or early? Maybe they trade back up and use one of those fourth round picks to go up and get a defensive tackle. But I think the Pittsburgh Steelers really need to prioritize this spot before they end up being so old in that position. You have guys like Larry Ogunjobi, Cam Heyward. Before you're so old and you only have Keanu Benton left and the cupboard is bare, and then you're scrambling in the 2025 season to try to figure out how to replace that production and try to really shore up that middle of that 3-4 defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers. All right, guys, we're going to get off here again. We're going to try to do a live show again tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will post it and let you all know in the community section. So ensure that you have that notification bell turned on here for Mike Drop Sports. Also, guys, thank you so much. We are almost to that 2,000 subscriber mark. We are about to hit that, and that is going to be an awesome milestone. We need about 29 more subscribers. So tell a friend to tell a friend, and let's get this built up, because we have been averaging a lot here lately, 30 to 40 a day, always new subscribers for the channel. So let's continue and let's hit that 2,000 goal today. Let's get that taken care of, get that goal out of the way, and then I have a new goal set before the season starts. I want to hit the 5,000 subscriber mark. That'll be our next milestone goal for the channel. So let's hit this 2,000, and then let's start steamrolling toward that 5,000 mark before the season kicks off for your Pittsburgh Steelers for the 2024 season. And then let's during the season, we're going to try to reach the 10,000. So those are our steps here and our immediate goals for this off season and during next season. So we're definitely going to make it there. I know we will. We are trucking along every day. So I appreciate your support. And as always, don't forget our daily uploads. Don't forget to like these videos. It really truly helps. And don't forget to subscribe so we can hit our milestone goals and really continue to grow this community of awesome Steeler fans, NFL fans in general. Just an amazing group of people. The chats are great on the live show. So let's just keep doing that and keep building this great community. And until next time, I'm Jason. This is Mike Drop Sports. Peace.